Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into what it really means to get a document professionally translated and why the American Translators Association is the one gold standard you absolutely need to know about.
So, let's set the scene. You've got a critical document. Maybe it's a birth certificate for an immigration case, a business contract that's worth a lot of money, or your academic transcripts for that dream university. Everything, and I mean everything, is riding on getting that translation perfectly right.
Now, your first instinct might be to just use a free online tool. But when you look at it this way, it's not really about free versus paid. It's about risk versus assurance. You're choosing between the very real risk of rejection and the guarantee of compliance. And when your future is on the line, well, that difference is everything.
So let's dive into why this choice is so incredibly critical. We're talking about dealing with official bodies like U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, where there is absolutely zero room for error. You see, a simple mistranslation isn't just a typo, it's a landmine. It can trigger what's called a request for evidence from USCIS, which can put your entire case on ice for months, or worse, it could lead to an outright denial. It can undermine legal testimony in court or even make a business contract totally worthless. These aren't just what-ifs. These are very real consequences.
Okay, so how do you avoid all these terrible pitfalls? To guarantee quality, you really need a gold standard. And that brings us to the key organization at the very heart of professional language services in the United States.
The American Translators Association, or the ATA. They've been around since 1959, and their entire mission is to set the bar for the profession. They establish the standards for competence, for ethics, and for quality. They're basically the benchmark for professionalism.
And this is just the perfect way to think about it. You know how doctors have the AMA and lawyers have the Bar Association? The ATA does that exact same job for translators. It's that seal of quality, that signal of expertise and accountability that you can actually trust.
But what is it that gives the ATA so much authority? Well, it all comes down to its incredibly demanding certification process. And let me be clear, this isn't a test to see if you're bilingual. This is a test to prove you're a professional. It's a whole different ballgame. This one number says it all. The pass rate for the ATA certification exam is often below 20%. Just think about that for a second. More than 4 out of 5 people who take this incredibly difficult exam do not pass. That tells you just how high the bar is set. We're talking about a grueling 3-hour exam graded by at least 2 senior certified translators. It goes way beyond just swapping words. It tests for a complete mastery of both languages, grammar, syntax, all the subtle nuances. It tests for professional technique. Can you convey the true meaning, tone, and intent? And it tests for professional judgment, knowing how to handle tricky idioms in cultural context. And while that exam is a massive cornerstone, the ATA's role in upholding quality across the industry is so much bigger. It really creates a whole ecosystem of professionalism.
The ATA is constantly working to advance the profession. They advocate on huge issues, like the proper use of AI versus human interpreters in court. They provide non-stop continuing education, promote a formal code of ethics that everyone has to follow, and they work to educate the public on why hiring a real pro is so important.
Okay, so you get the why now, you see the risks, and you know the standard to look for. So let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. What are the actual steps to find the right professional for your documents? The ATA makes this part incredibly simple. They have an online language services directory with more than 7,000 translators and interpreters who have already been vetted. You just go to their website, search by the languages you need, the specialty like legal or medical, and you can even search by location to connect directly with the exact expert you need. And that really brings us to the final, crucial takeaway. When it comes to an informal email, sure, a free tool might be okay. But when it's your immigration status, a legal case, or a major business deal on the line, you have to ask yourself, is a free app really worth that devastating risk? Your most important documents deserve a professional standard of care.